Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Wisda. I created ADHD Lullaby. I'm live here on YouTube, just answering questions about the album and talking about what it does. It's a unique album recorded using neuroscience to specifically help children with ADHD fall asleep at night. It works phenomenally well. Most children with ADHD are falling asleep in 15 to 20 minutes. Whereas before, if you have any experience with an ADHD child, you know that it can take 2-3 hours sometimes to get that child to sleep at night. And that's not their fault. If they're taking a stimulant medication, that stimulant medication causes a homeostasis imbalance at the end of the evening, and they get a boost of energy. And like I said, it's not their fault. What ADHD Lullaby does uniquely is it's using neuroscience to help them relax and calm down and get back into the homeostasis range they should be at, and thus fall asleep faster given the time of the evening, and that their bodies are in fact tired, really. So we're just kind of speeding up the process mentally of getting them to relax. And the way the album works is it uses both rhythmic and non-rhythmic elements to confuse the mind, which sounds strange. But if you think about it, in Western music, which is United States, Europe, what you and I would hear as music, everything's in a pattern. And because it's in a pattern, our mind can quickly identify that pattern and go, hey, this is going to repeat. And I'll use a very simple example. In fact, the name of the song is Simple. I'm not a country fan, but there's a group out there called Florida Georgia Line, and they have a song out there right now called Simple. And it's got a very, very basic chord progression, and it sounds just like this. And it just goes repeats like this for 2 or 3 minutes, or however long the song is. And it repeats. That's the song. It's a great song, phenomenal song, selling millions of copies, but it repeats. Very simple. Our minds like that. In Western music, what we're accustomed to is hearing those songs on repeat, and our mind likes hearing that. In blues, you're going to hear that repeat. Most blues songs are going to come along and they're going to do something like this. And it repeats again. That's blues. Jazz is a little different. Jazz has motifs, and the way that works is like this. So let's say I'm playing a jazz thing, and I'm going to do, and we're going to call it my home bass, or my motif is something like this. Right? So as I'm playing around, I might be playing something like this. Right? And I just came back to that home bass, that motif. And so when our mind hears that, we know that whatever that musician is trying to say has just occurred. With ADHD Lullaby, what we're doing is we're taking those rhythmic elements of basic stuff. Basic stuff, right? repeating it throughout the entire song. Not a lot of deviation from that. And then we're coming along and we're putting those non-rhythmic elements in there. And so we might come in there and do something like this. And that non-rhythmic element is going over the top of that rhythmic element, right? And the two together are, number one, your mind's identifying the pattern, but over here, we got something that's completely out of time. The notes are not landing where they're supposed to, or at least Western music has us accustomed to hearing, and it's confusing our mind. And because it's confusing our mind, it's forcing the mind to listen to that music more, if you will. And then embedded within the music are some very specific frequencies. And the music's been equalized, and there's a lot of science that goes into this, which I won't bore you with. But the frequencies are basically basic tones. And I'll play one for you, and I think you'll get the idea that a child would not listen to this. It's not soothing by any stretch of the imagination. So here's what one of those tones might sound like, right? It's just a tone. It's just a frequency. And what we're doing is by having that frequency in there, think of it like this. When you and I go to the beach on vacation and we hear lapping waves, we relax. If we hear birds chirping at night, we relax. Waterfalls, we relax. From an evolutionary standpoint, we as human beings have come to identify these specific frequencies as frequencies which the mind relaxes. Neuroscientists have found the specific frequencies, like the one I just played you, where when you hear it, you really relax, right? It's like, waterfall on steroids, if you will. And so by incorporating those frequencies into the music and embedding them in the music, while they're there, you just can identify them audibly. We're getting you to relax really, really quick. And specifically with that ADHD child, we're using frequencies specific to ADHD kids and helping them relax and ultimately fall asleep really quickly. If you look at the reviews that we've had about the music, about the album ADHD Lullaby, it's almost 100% positive. Every single parent that's written me has said, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. I've gone from an hour or 2 hours at night to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And that's huge. If you have experience with an ADHD kid, getting your kid to sleep in 15 minutes is a phenomenal, phenomenal thing. You get your life back, really. And so that's what this album is. That's what we're doing. And it works really well. In all the reviews I've gotten and all the comments and the feedback I've gotten back from parents, I've had one parent, just one in the last 4 weeks, write me up and say, hey, this isn't working for my kid. One. And even at that, in that one review, the parent's like, hey, I'm not sure this is my kid, but he's pretty oppositional. If it's not his idea, he really fights it. So she goes, I'm not saying anything bad about your music. She goes, it's relaxing to me, but my kid's not taking to it because, well, he's being defiant. So this is a phenomenal, phenomenal thing. Let me see, one second really quick, sorry. Yeah. So, one second, I'm sorry. Wife is texting me. That's what we're doing. And it's amazing. The album, we're about 4 weeks into after the release. We've had about 100,000 streams across all platforms, be it iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, YouTube, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. About 100,000 streams, selling digital copies. If you want a physical CD, and physical CDs are not that popular anymore, You can order them from my website, which is ADHDlullaby.com. Ship physical CDs anywhere in the world. There's a few countries we can't ship to, it just doesn't work. But for the most part, we're shipping worldwide. Shipping cost outside of the US is $8. If it's within the US, it's free. And at $8 is probably only offsetting half of our shipping cost internationally. So I'm not, you know, we're not in this to make a fortune, trust me, and we're not. But more than anything, I want to help parents. I know what it's like to be that parent with a kid who doesn't go to sleep at night, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world. So check it out, and I think you'll be amazed, truly. And you'll get your life back at night. You'll be able to spend time with your significant other like you've never been able to before, and it's the greatest thing. Seriously, it's life-changing. So I appreciate all the feedback everybody keeps sending. I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate you telling the story of ADHD Lullaby to other parents. We're not backed by a massive record label. I don't have Sony or Columbia Records in my back pocket. Little teeny record label here in Scottsdale, you know, not a big budget for this, not a lot of marketing dollars. So if you're sharing this with other parents, it's extremely appreciated. Why does my face look green? That's the lights coming in. It's bad lights if I hold it, whatever. You sharing this story with other parents is how most parents are going to hear about this, honestly. So please don't keep this quiet. If you have success with it, tell another parent, tell another parent, tell another parent. There's 6 million kids in the United States alone with ADHD who are taking stimulant medications. And we've maybe at this point penetrated 2,000 or 3,000 of them. And I want every parent to get the respite that I've gotten out of this album, that those who are using this album are getting. So please share the story. Honestly, share the story. I don't profess this to be a magic bullet, but it works phenomenally well. So anyway, that said, I've been at this for about 12 or 15 minutes now here on YouTube, and I'm going to let you all be. Wish you a great day. Happy Monday. Have a great week. If you have any questions about the album or you want to know something specifically, post a comment. I read all comments. I respond to all comments, be that on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you send me an email, I will respond to you. And I'm usually pretty quickly too. Yeah. So check it out. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're really trying to build up the YouTube channel a little bit. Yeah. Have a great week. Take care.